A blizzard sweeps across the vast white plains, erasing every sound but the wind's lonely cry. Snowflakes swirl like drifting ashes from some great unseen fire. In that harsh quiet, a girl named Abigail Abby McGraw, age 12, pushes through the drifts with stubborn determination. Her coat, once her mother's, is tattered at the seams. The scarf around her neck was sewn by shaking hands that loved her and then left her, hands she barely remembers except through the scent of lavender still clinging to the threads. Her boots crunch. Her breath fogs. Her heart beats fast, too fast for the slow pace her feet manage. She is running from the kind of loneliness that follows even when the world is full of people. The wind stings her cheeks red. But what hurts more is the memory of children laughing behind her earlier that day. The drunk's daughter. Bad luck girl. Words can bruise deeper than fists. Then, a sound. So faint it might be just the wind. But she hears it again. A broken whinny. Abby stops. Silence. Then, a weak cry layered with pain and defiance. She moves toward the sound, guided by an instinct stronger than fear, an instinct to save something that still has a chance. Through the white haze, she sees a shape collapse in the snow. A paint horse, powerful yet crumpled, one side heaving, one leg stiff in agony. Two snapped arrows protrude from its hide. Blood freezes black on its flank. Its eyes roll up weakly at her approach, wild but no longer certain of life. Abby kneels beside it, reaching with slow, careful fingers. The horse flinches and then stills. Their breaths synchronize in trembling clouds. "You're not dying tonight," she whispers. What she means is, not you too. Not like Mama. Around its neck she notices a leather necklace threaded with bone and bright beaded feathers. Comanche craftsmanship. A sacred connection. Something that does not belong to her world. She should run. Soldiers have been restless. Tensions high. But the horse looks at her with a plea that feels ancient, as she loops her rope around its chest and pulls. The wind rises again, swirling snow so thick the world becomes blind. Abby leans her weight back, rope cutting into her palms. The horse struggles to rise, sinks again. Her breath burns. She grits her teeth. "Come on," she pleads. Not loud. Pleas are quiet things. Again, together, they push against the snow and sorrow. One step, two steps. Time slows into pure effort. Frozen wolves' eyes gleam from the shadows of pines. Predators waiting on failure. The horse forces a snort, a final warning. They keep moving. Not fast, but forward by the time the cabin appears. Barely more than a silhouette of wood sagging under years of poverty. Abby can hardly feel her fingers inside the cabin. Her father lies slumped in a chair, boots still on, whiskey still warm. Jacob McGraw was once strong, once proud, but grief hollowed him out. He lost his wife, then piece by piece he lost himself. The bottle has been kinder company than his daughter. Abby slips past him with the horse into the barn. A barn only in name. Half roof gone, boards missing like lost teeth. She drags an old canvas over the gaps, enough to block the worst of the wind. With careful fingers, she breaks the arrows and pulls them free. The horse jerks with pain, but does not strike. Every flinch becomes trust. She tears strips from her mother's quilt, her only inheritance, and presses them against the wounds. Snow melts off his coat, and steam rises like prayers leaving the body. "You're safe now," she says. Words she has never heard spoken to her. She decides his name must be Ghost Wind, for he seems made of spirit and storm. The candlelight trembles as they share breath and warmth. His eyes, dark and deep, reflect her small silhouette. A lonely girl claiming courage she didn't know she had. Morning. The storm is gone, but whispers remain in town. Men in blue coats speak of a fallen Comanche chief, Tall Hawk, shot in a skirmish by militia near the river. His warhorse vanished into the snow. Soldiers vow to find it and finish the job. A horse belonging to a Comanche leader is not just property. It is symbol, honor, spirit. Anyone sheltering it is considered enemy. The gossip circles like vultures. Tracks heading toward McGraw Place. Can't trust that family to keep to the law. Wouldn't be surprised if the girl's hiding something. Judgment is a disease that spreads quicker than truth. Abby pretends not to hear, but every word settles like ice in her bones. Her only kindness comes from Elias Boone, 16, a ranch hand with soft eyes and quiet hands. He offers her jerky without asking questions and says, barely audible, "Whatever you're fixin', don't give up yet." She nods once. Tiny spark. Just enough. Back at the barn, Ghost Wind stands taller, though weak, when he sees her return. He snorts, and she smiles as if the sun peeked through the clouds for the first time in years. She whispers stories to him, fragile truths she's never shared. How Mama once braided her hair and sang old frontier lullabies. How the town sees only failure in the McGraws. How she dreams of being more than a burden. How she fears she will never belong. Ghost Wind lowers his head into her small chest, like he chooses her sadness to rest against. Her throat tightens. Some bonds require no language. That night, moonlight spills through the barn cracks, silvering the hay. Snow outside glows like a frozen ocean under the stars. Abby wraps her coat around the horse's neck, giving him the last warmth she owns. She says, voice barely breath, "I won't abandon you." We rise together. She believes it. And belief can change a destiny. Her father wakes later, face haunted as he stares at the empty bottle. A sound outside, hooves shifting, draws his attention. Suspicion stirs. Old fear of Indians stirs. Trouble stirs. But Abby sleeps pressed against Ghost Wind's shoulder, feeling, even just for tonight, like she has found a heartbeat that matches her own. A girl and a wounded warhorse. Two lives cast aside by a world too quick to judge. Winter held them captive, but hope, soft and fragile, has begun to thaw the ice, which is why, when dawn comes and an armed patrol appears on the horizon, following tracks in the snow, trouble begins to breathe again. Morning wears a quiet menace. Fresh snow gleams, but the beauty feels sharp, like a blade waiting to be drawn. Abby wakes to Ghost Wind nudging her gently, a soft rumble in his chest, part gratitude, part warning. The world outside is too still. Footsteps crunch. Men's voices. Horses snorting. Through the barn cracks, she sees 3 soldiers, rifles slung, uniforms dark against the white. They dismount at the cabin, pounding on the door with the authority of those who are certain they are right. Jacob stumbles out, half awake, half ashamed. He argues, weakly, that he knows nothing of Comanche horses. The soldiers spread out to search anyway. Abby's pulse hammers. Ghost Wind shifts, muscles tense, breath fast. If they find him, they will shoot him, not out of necessity, but out of hatred passed down from generation to generation. Destroying the horse destroys the spirit of Chief Tall Hawk. Even in death. Abby's father shouts suddenly when he sees her peeking from the barn. "Abigail, what did you do?" Fear turns his voice sharp, like he might fracture if he speaks softer. She doesn't answer. Guilt would drown her. Soldiers approach the barn door. Abby grabs Ghost Wind's rope and whispers, "You have to trust me." They slip out the back. The barn provides only one heartbeat of cover. Then they are in the open, moving through the orchard's skeleton branches, the white ground betraying every step. A gun cocks. A shout. "Stop!" That's the Comanche pony. Cold panic jolts through her veins. Ghost Wind launches forward, carrying her across the icy field. But he stumbles, still not recovered. Bullets crack the air. Snow sprays around them like tiny explosions. From beyond the shed, a figure appears. Elias Boone, eyes wide with fear, but resolve hardening his jaw. He swings open the gate to the dried creek bed and calls, "This way." Abby doesn't think. She trusts. They plunge down into the frozen ravine. Soldiers curse, scrambling to follow, but horses hesitate at the steep drop, breathless. They take temporary shelter behind boulders. Ghost Wind's sides heave. Wounds straining, but he stands like a warrior refusing collapse. Abby presses her forehead against his neck, tears freezing on her lashes. "I won't lose you," she tells him. Not a whisper now. A vow. Elias crouches close, whispering urgently, "They'll keep searching. You need a plan. A good one." But Abby has never been given the luxury of plans, only reactions. Survival, hope stitched with stubbornness. Then wind carries a sound. Drums. Distant but coming closer. On the ridge, a line of Comanche riders appears, proud, straight-backed silhouettes against the rising sun. They move with purpose and pain. Their chief is dead, and grief becomes a blade. Among them rides White Deer, the chief's younger brother, his hair bound with mourning ribbons. His gaze pierces the land, searching for a stolen piece of family. Abby knows Ghost Wind is not hers to keep. He belonged to a great man who will never see another sunrise. This horse carries memories sacred as blood. She touches Ghost Wind's cheek. This is your family. The horse snorts softly. Agreement or gratitude? She cannot tell. Soldiers crest the ridge behind them. Comanche riders tighten formation. The world narrows to a moment that could ignite war. Abby steps out first, small, shaking, coat torn open by the wind, and raises both hands. Her voice carries across the cold distance. He's hurt. I only wanted to save him. White Deer dismounts, walking slowly toward her, eyes scanning Ghost Wind's wounds, the broken arrows she removed. He sees the blood-stained quilt strips, a child's sacrifice. You tended him, he says in accented English, a statement rather than question. Abby nods. Her knees nearly fold. I tried my best. A soldier yells. That horse is property of the U.S. Army now. White Deer turns, fury simmering like fire under ice. Ghost Wind steps protectively between Abby and the soldiers, one deep-chested snort silencing threats. Abby feels courage rise, not loud, but bold. He isn't property, she says. He's loyal to love, not to guns. The wind stops, as if the world listens. Jacob arrives, breathless, terrified. His eyes land on Abby, his daughter now revealed as braver than he ever allowed himself to be. Shame flickers into remorse. He steps beside her. Just one step, but it is enough? She's right, he says hoarsely. She saved him, because I couldn't save anything. The words crack him open. A man choosing truth over fear. Elias joins them, shoulders squared. Three broken hearts standing up for a fourth. The soldiers hesitate. The situation is shifting out of their control. One raises his rifle anyway. Pride, anger, ignorance moving his finger. Ghost Wind senses the danger. He surges forward, a wounded protector, blocking Abby from the bullet's path. The crack of the gunshot echoes cruelly. A gasp rips Abby's throat. Ghost Wind falters, not falling, but staggering, before a second shot comes. White Deer moves faster than thought. He knocks the rifle aside and his riders surround the soldiers, forcing surrender without a single death. Strength with restraint. Honor as retaliation to eye in the snow. Ghost Wind lowers himself carefully, exhausted. Abby drops to her knees beside him, tears breaking like thawing ice. Please, don't go. Her fingers tremble against his mane. White Deer kneels across from her. He brushes snow from the horse's lashes and speaks softly in Comanche, words Abby does not know but understands. Love. Farewell, blessing. Ghost Wind turns his head slightly, pressing his muzzle into Abby's chest. His breathing steadies, not fading. Recovering, not dying. Living. White Deer looks at Abby with a solemn kind of awe. You gave him his life back, he says. And in doing so, you returned part of my brother's spirit. She expects him to take Ghost Wind away. That is the rightful thing. Instead, he places the leather feather charm into her palm. Chief Tall Hawk believed animals choose their hearts. If Ghost Wind chooses you, then you are family too. Abby gasps, not from shock, but from belonging. A feeling she has never known floods warm through her ribs. The Comanche ride away peacefully. Warriors acknowledging her courage with nods that feel like blessings. The soldiers, disarmed, retreat in humiliation, their power stolen by a child's humanity. Snowflakes drift like feathers falling from angels. Jacob kneels beside Abby, voice fragile. I'm sorry. Abby, I should have stood with you sooner. She leans against him, forgiveness resting quietly between them. Elias grins a shy, lopsided grin. You're something else, Abby McGraw. Her cheeks warm, a soft new feeling, the beginning of something tender. Ghost Wind rises carefully, leaning into Abby's steady hand. Wounds remain, but wounds mean survival, not defeat. Together they walk home, father, daughter, friend, and a horse that carried history through a storm. From this day, the town's whispers change tone. That girl's got iron in her heart. She saved a chief's warhorse. The McGraws ain't cursed, they're blessed. Abby still feels small sometimes, but now she knows small things can save great lives. And a barn once crumbling becomes a sanctuary. Patched roof, warm hay, laughter shared like fresh bread. Ghost Wind heals quickly, strength returning. Spirit never broken. On quiet nights, Abby looks up at the stars and thinks of Tall Hawk, a man she never met but honored through mercy. She strokes Ghost Wind's mane and whispers, "You made me brave." And he, in his silent way, whispers back, "You made me whole." The reflection comes at the tale's end, spoken like an old soul remembering. Sometimes the world will tell you that you are nothing, a burden, a mistake, a curse, but fate has a different map for those who listen to the storms and choose compassion anyway. A single act of grace can thaw a winter, can heal a wound, can turn a nobody into the protector of a sacred heartbeat. If you ever feel small, remember Abby McGraw, a lonely girl who saved a warhorse in the snow and discovered she was worth saving too.